Speaking of Kari Lake, yesterday, Barry Markson was sitting in that very seat that you're in, Chrissy, and we had Kari Lake on for almost a half hour. Wide-ranging interview, I'd like to say.
Fantastic interview.
If you want to hear it in its entirety, and I do think there's something to be said for this, we kind of blew up the format a little bit, right? We let it run. The entire interview is available on the podcast, Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos. You can find that at KTAR.com. And it's about 22 and a half, 23 minutes, unedited, the way it ran on the air.
No holds barred.
That's it. No one can claim they were misquoted. I didn't say that. Nope, there it is. This is what you said.
Good.
Some of the questions we asked her, I thought we got some interesting answers. One of it was, and I got to tell you, Barry Markson, KTAR legal analyst. So when you're a lawyer, you ask questions differently than non-lawyers. Like I like to sit here and have a conversation with you. Barry's like, is it true that on Tuesday you know everything is a definitive yes and no? Like he narrows it down. Don't give him wiggle room in the question, right? So he asked Kari Lake, not once, not twice.
3 times a lady?
3 times a lady. If she knew what went on with all that election fraud. Here's what it sounded like.
Can you tell us who stole the election from you and how they did it? And if you can't or you don't want to, that's okay. But I want to make sure the question's there in front of you.
Yes. The elections are run poorly. They're run very poorly, and I don't know who exactly stole the election, but there are a lot of people who are running elections poorly.
Okay. He asked her 3 times, who stole the election?
How would you know?
And how did they do it? Well, she's filed lawsuits with almost every judge in the state of Arizona and lost all of them because she can't provide any evidence.
But how does one know exactly whom tampered with her election? There are
how does
shenanigans.
one know that happened if you can't prove it?
I think there are some shenanigans out there happening.
And yet no evidence whatsoever.
I think there's some irregularities.
No evidence? But no evidence.
She said she didn't know. I don't think that sounds dubious at all.
I think she doesn't know because it doesn't exist. But her brand has been, and I don't think you'd argue with this, her brand has been election was stolen from her and Donald Trump. That's her brand for the last 4 years. I mean, 3 years or so.
I think there's a lot more to her platform than that. But for a while,
that's what she has been screaming from the mountaintops. And for 3+ years after the election, for her not to be able to tell us even who the heck was behind this. And by the way, even if you don't know who it is, how did they do it? That she has nothing, hasn't presented anything in front of a judge that's stuck, has no evidence, has no witnesses.
She's in front of a judge a lot.
And losing a lot, by the way. They haven't won one of these election fraud cases. And they've been laughed out of court on some of them. I just find it hard to believe every judge in the state of Arizona is like some corrupt crook who loves Katie Hobbs or something. I'm just
a lot of them do.
Yeah, well.
Just saying.
You got to bring evidence.
Just saying.
Until then, Bigfoot's still alive and the earth is flat.
Well,
bring evidence. Bring evidence.
It's on the Instagram.
It's on the Insta. You can always figure that out. She made some interesting comments regarding abortion because it looks like that the abortion, the change in the Arizona Constitution, in the law, is going to be a ballot initiative. Everywhere that this has been a ballot initiative around the country in the last couple of years since Roe v. Wade was overturned, it's been a bloodbath for Republicans. They've lost in places like Missouri and Kansas. You don't get redder, that is...
I'm from there.
That's the heartland, for God's sakes. You put abortion on the ballot, it was like 70-30, done. And so we asked her where her position was, kind of where she stood on this issue that is going to be in front of voters.
Would you vote yes or no for a nationwide law banning the abortion pill?
I think what you're mistaking is what women take when they take a pill when they go in and they're several weeks pregnant versus the day after pill. And the abortion pill, when women go in and they're several weeks pregnant, they go home, they take this pill, and oftentimes they hemorrhage, and there's no medical staff there to care for them.
My question was, if you're in the Senate and that vote comes up, will you vote yes or no for a law that would ban the abortion pill, yes or no?
I don't think that women should be taking a pill at home and risking hemorrhaging. I care about women.
She also, when we asked her specifically about abortion, and I'm sorry, but it was a different clip, but that's not Stephen's fault. That's mine. She said she would respect the will of the voters.
Okay.
So if this
I like that.
ballot initiative comes forward, well, she's also said that life begins at conception. And she was in favor of the Arizona law that goes back 100-something years, and I think involves lashings or something as a penalty back then. So I don't know if that's an evolution of a position that she is willing to say if the voters vote for 15 weeks or whatever it is. And I do not know the wording. I don't even know if the wording has been settled on what the ballot initiative would look like in the state of Arizona. But if, let's say it says 15 weeks, she is okay with that. And that appears to be a bit of a change or a modification of her proposal before, which was no abortion.
This happens in an election year. I don't want to break it to you.
So which are you supposed to believe? So I guess so I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And Kari Lake is not unique like this. My frustration as someone who doesn't play the sides, I don't care about the R's and D's, I vote for people. I don't know who they are if they do 180s on what seem to be pretty serious positions and involve your values and your morals and your beliefs. I can disagree with somebody on it. I just want to know where they stand. Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I don't know where she stands on a lot of this because it's in motion.
I think that she stands that abortion should be a states' rights issue, not unlike Donald Trump said the same thing. So I think that's where she's going. I think it's a very palatable way to say that when you say whatever the voters
decided, and then it's not on you. It's
not on you, man.
Not on me.
Democracy.
I did my gosh darndest.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gatos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.